Recently, the Rwanda ICT Chamber, the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology here in Rwanda, MINICOM and the ITC signed a memorandum of understanding that will see the International Trade Center provide technical assistance and financial support to the Rwanda ICT Chamber to realize an e-commerce development project. Ntale, the CEO of Rwanda ICT Chamber, joins us now to discuss more on this project. Thank you for creating time to grace us, sir.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Michael.
Right. Quickly running into this, you're looking at the future or enabling the future of e-commerce, a project that you are working on, jointly with all of these ministries, and GIZ is also involved. Yes. Tell us more about it.
So we all know that the future of trade, or even the trade today, is quickly becoming digital. And the recently signed, or last year signed, AFICTA, the free trade zones and free trade area for the entire continent. Right. More countries are signing onto it. But the question has always been, how do Africans and how do African companies, or SMEs in this case, plug into the global trade? And e-commerce provides this opportunity. So what we're doing with International Trade Center is to ease the entry point for SMEs, but also for ICT companies, technology companies that are providing or building platforms for these SMEs to be onboarded. And this basically, what the project looks to do is to take a value chain approach to this. Because e-commerce does not happen if the logistics is not covered. But again, you need to give customers comfort wherever they're buying from. They're used to certain standards, trust marks, security of their data privacy for some of the customers that are buying or ordering for goods from Rwanda or goods from anywhere around the world to be delivered to them. They need to be certain that the transporting, the shipping to their addresses is actually going to be achieved in record time, getting the same experience as they're getting in the countries that they live. So what this project is looking to achieve is to provide support and services along the entire value chain. So the agreement has been signed with a local company that runs a warehousing facility that is going to be transformed into an e-fulfillment center, or what is called an e-commerce service center. Right. We've signed with the e-commerce foundation to provide the trust mark, which is a global code of conduct, follows a global code of conduct practices for companies that really want to put their products online. They will be globally looked at by these players, verified for payment security, for data protection, for all the guarantees that a global customer needs in order to transfer their finances or to conduct transactions on any platform that will be provided. But also the shipping and all these other things will be
Alex,
included.
when does this get into force? When does it kick off?
Actually, we've already kicked off.
Awesome.
We've kicked off with trainings for SMEs. So these SMEs are being trained on what they need, how they need to prepare their products for an online market, how do they, what kind of standards are their customers going to be looking at. And then we're also training the technology companies in how to meet global technology standards, platform standards, when they're developing their platforms. So they can write code, they can design websites, but what does an international company or an international customer look at? What are the standards they're going to be looking at? And that's some of the things that we already started the trainings, and we'll be certifying them. So every after the training, they're getting a certification with a level of where they're at, and that is really what is being pushed. And in June, we will launched the service center, the e-commerce service center, which will be open now to the SMEs. Basically, is pooling resources, so you can get your space in this service center, and whenever a customer makes an order on whatever platform you've developed, or if it's a marketplace, they know that it is going to be delivered.
Right. Talk to me about eligibility. Who is eligible to be on this platform, and regulatory laws? Is this something created generally for SMEs in Rwanda, or given the fact that we are part of the East African community, anyone from East Africa can actually leverage this? So
at the moment, it's still in Rwanda, and this is the reason, because the SMEs that we're targeting are here.
Right.
The practices that we're training, the logistics partners that we're working with are working in Rwanda. And the service center, where the goods, the products that are going to be traded on the different platforms that will be developed, the service center is, the one we're starting with is going to be based in Rwanda. So for the ones that are in the region, we're not yet there. Maybe at some point our dream is that we will have e-commerce service centers across the continent where pooling resources, you don't need, if you're a small SME, you do not need to set up your own warehouse and e-fulfillment center just to service a few customers that you have somewhere, but rather you can leverage the resources of colleagues in the sector, whatever sector you're in, and you can actually trade online, or you can sell your goods around the world.
Alex, we all believe that there can be a solution if we don't have a problem. So which kind of problem are you solving right now?
So the problem we're solving, or rather the opportunity we're creating here, is helping SMEs to expand and tap into the billions, the hundreds of trillion-dollar market that exists in trade of goods, just goods to start with. And this is whether they're trading local craft or selling local produce, that is, whether it's coffee. We all know how Amazon is now getting close to $1 trillion company. We know Alibaba does billions, hundreds of billions of dollars in sales, and several others. So we're giving a chance to SMEs in Rwanda to be able to tap into that global market that yearns for African produce, right, African organic products.
It's very interesting every time we're talking about the global market, but I hope that we're in sync on this conversation. Today, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area goes into force.
Yes.
Was signed a year here in Kigali, maybe in a few months. How do you see this, making a difference with the digital, trade that we're looking at, selling online, e-commerce platforms, and all of this?
So I think what the agreement allows is free movement of goods, free movement of business people. Just yesterday, I think Rwanda announced their 29th destination. So when you have, and this is global, it's not just Africa. By the way, when we say global, Africa is also in the global.
I understand,
in the global
but I
community.
want to be very
so
specific.
if someone is
Africa.
making order, if someone is ordering for goods in Congo, in Brazzaville, in Cotonou, in Benin, they know that actually they will be delivered. Right. And the taxation or the tax agreements that are in the agreement, and the other facilities that have been catered for, really that enables the SME to not only look at Rwanda or whatever business it is, whether it's SME or even large corporations, not just to look at Rwanda as a market, but to really look at Africa and the global marketplace as a potential source for their revenues.
Okay, Alex, my last one. How much is this project that you're working on?
That's confidential. I know that this is CNBC, so at least you understand confidentiality of deals and money that comes into certain projects. So however, to your question on is this regional, is this continental, we really hope that we can make it continental. There's several opportunities that await for African products across the world. Just recently at Transform Africa, met a young man who's created a product out of coffee residue. And it's amazing. The product has immense potential globally.
Right.
And coffee is being produced on the African, the best coffee is being produced on the African continent. So let's wait as we sign more of these opportunities, or as we get new markets, maybe we'll get some of the numbers will come to you.
I hope you will
but
let me
today
break the
I may
news.
not be able to share with you.
Right. Alex, thank you so
details.
much for your time to join us today on CNBC Africa.
Thank you very much, Michael.